The red taillights of her Lexus blurred into the evening haze as she sped away, the scent of her perfume a cloying mix of vanilla and lies lingering in the air like a poisonous gas. I stood on the porch, the chill seeping through my thin t-shirt, watching until the sound of the engine faded into the suburban drone. Anna? My Anna. Gone. Or at least the version I thought I knew was gone. What remained was a stranger, a ghost in my own home, a phantom limb throbbing with a pain I couldn't yet comprehend. They called us perfect. Mark and Anna, the golden couple. College sweethearts, the envy of our friend group, the pinnacle of #relationship goals on Instagram. Me, the nerdy software guy who somehow snagged the effortlessly cool marketing guru. We had the house, the dogs, the planned out future, a life shimmering with the promise of forever. I met her at a frat party. A cliché, I know. I was hiding in a corner, nursing a lukewarm beer and trying to avoid the sweaty bodies gyrating to some awful pop song. Anna was a beacon, a sunbeam in that dimly lit, beer-soaked room. Her laughter, bright and infectious, drew me in. I tripped over my own feet trying to approach her, mumbled some ridiculous line about Java and coffee that only a CS major would understand. To my utter disbelief, she laughed, actually laughed. She was everything I wasn't: confident, charismatic, effortlessly stylish. She could talk to anyone, charm the socks off a brick wall. I, on the other hand, was happiest behind a computer screen, coding in the comforting glow of the monitor. But she saw something in me, or at least she pretended to. We fell hard and fast. Weekend movie marathons fueled by pizza and cheap beer. Late night talks about our dreams, our fears, our hopes for the future. She pretended to be fascinated by my coding projects, listened intently as I explained the intricacies of algorithms. I, in turn, feigned interest in her marketing campaigns, nodding along as she explained the complexities of brand strategy. Looking back, the cracks were there, papering over the surface like those damn Instagram filters. But I was blinded by love, intoxicated by the idea that someone like her could actually want me. I pulled out all the stops to make her happy, remembered every anniversary, every birthday, every stupid little milestone in our relationship. I planned elaborate date nights, surprised her with thoughtful gifts, learned to cook her favorite pasta from scratch. She lapped it up, basked in the attention. Our wedding was a fairy tale. The perfect dress, the perfect venue, the perfect vows. Tears streamed down my face as she walked down the aisle, a vision in white. I truly believed that we were embarking on a journey of endless happiness, a love story that would last forever. The first 2 years of marriage were good. Not perfect, but good. We cooked together on Sundays, mostly me cooking, her scrolling through her phone. We hiked with the dogs, hosted game nights with friends, and posted nauseatingly adorable pictures on social media. We were the couple everyone envied. I got along with her family. Her dad and I bonded over football, even though I couldn't tell a touchdown from a field goal. Her mom fed me endless plates of pasta, convinced I was wasting away to nothing. Her brother, Ethan, became one of my gaming buddies. We played co-op games every Thursday night. My family adored Anna. My mom constantly said she finally had the daughter she always wanted. My sister, Jenny, pretended to be happy for me, but I always sensed a hint of reservation in her eyes. My brother, Ryan, and Anna seemed to click instantly. They shared a similar energy, a similar sense of humor. I thought it was great. We talked about the future. Kids, a bigger house, travel, retirement. We even started a savings account for a down payment on a house in a better school district. Anna had already picked out names for our future children. Thank God that never happened. 6 months before everything imploded, we were sitting on our back deck, sipping wine and dreaming about growing old together. I remember thinking how lucky I was, how I had found my soulmate, my partner in crime, my forever. If only I knew what was lurking just around the corner, ready to shatter our perfect little world. If only I had ripped off those rose-colored glasses and seen the storm brewing on the horizon. Looking back, the signs were there, obvious as a neon sign flashing danger in my face. But I was too blinded by love, too eager to maintain the facade of perfection, to see them for what they were. Anna started working late. A lot. Not just the occasional late night when a project was due. We're talking about coming home at 10 p.m., reeking of someone else's cologne, and offering lame excuses about client dinners and team-building events. Stupid me. I believed her. I wanted to believe her. It was easier than confronting the nagging feeling in my gut, the unease that was slowly gnawing away at my peace of mind. She started dressing up more for these work events. Outfits that I'd never seen before, dresses that clung to her curves in all the right places. She looked stunning, undeniably, but it stung knowing that she was putting more effort into these work gatherings than she did for our date nights. Speaking of date nights, those became a casualty. We used to have a strict rule. Friday was our night. No phones, no work, just us. But suddenly, every time I planned something, she was either too tired or glued to her phone the entire time. I remember one particular Friday night. I spent hours preparing a fancy steak dinner, following a recipe I found on Reddit. I even managed to not burn anything. I was so proud of myself. Anna barely looked up from her phone the whole time. God, can't I just check my work emails? She snapped when I dared to call her out. Some of us have important jobs, you know? Important jobs? As if my software engineering job at a Fortune 500 company was some kind of elaborate hobby. As if I wasn't working my ass off to provide for our family. The cute little things we used to do, the random memes we'd send each other throughout the day, the inside jokes, the silly TikTok dances, all gone. She stopped asking about my day, stopped caring if I ate lunch, stopped doing anything that showed she gave a damn about me as a person. Even the dogs noticed. Max and Bella used to be her babies. She was the one who insisted on adopting them from the shelter. But suddenly, she couldn't be bothered to walk them, to play with them, to even pet them. I'm too tired, she'd whine. You do it. They're your dogs, too. They started getting mopey when she was around, as if they could sense the tension, the coldness that had settled between us. The weirdest part was that she was still totally into family gatherings, insisted on going to my parents' house every Sunday, wanted to hang out with Ryan, acted like the perfect daughter-in-law in front of my mom. Meanwhile, my sister Jenny kept giving me these knowing looks, like she wanted to tell me something but couldn't. I should have pressed her harder, but I honestly didn't want to know. I was afraid of what I might find. I tried talking to Anna about it, multiple times, but every conversation went the same way. I feel like we're drifting apart, I said. One night, my voice trembling slightly. She rolled her eyes, barely glancing up from her phone. Oh my God, you're so needy. I miss spending time together, I persisted, my voice dropping to a whisper. She sighed, exasperated. Not everything is about you. I'm stressed, all right? Maybe we could try couples therapy, I suggested tentatively. She scoffed. We don't need therapy. You need to stop being so insecure. Silence. The only sound was the rhythmic tapping of her fingers on her phone screen. I just sat there, realizing that she wasn't busy. She just didn't care. Classic gaslighting, right? Making me feel like I was the problem, the one who was ruining our marriage. And, like an idiot, I started to believe her. Maybe I was too needy. Maybe I was overreacting. I even started going to therapy on my own, which actually helped a lot later when everything blew up. What infuriated me most was that she was still posting all those happy couple pictures on Instagram. She'd make me take dozens of photos, posing and smiling until her cheeks hurt, all to capture the perfect candid shot of us enjoying life. Then, she'd go right back to ignoring me. Our social media life looked perfect. Our real life was crumbling into dust. Peak millennial marriage problems, I guess. I started noticing other sketchy things too. She'd leave the room to take phone calls, whispering in hushed tones. She changed her phone password. She started doing her own laundry. After years of just throwing everything into one big pile, she got a gym membership at some fancy place across town, even though there was a perfectly good gym 5 minutes from our house. The greatest hits of spousal infidelity, all playing out in my own life. The things you read about in articles and think will never happen to you. My friends tried to warn me. My buddy, Mike, who had been through his own messy divorce, kept saying things like, "Bro, something's not right. You deserve better than this." But I defended her. Made excuses. "She's just stressed about work," I'd say. "Things will get better once this big project is done." I even tried the whole win her back thing. Planned surprise dates. Bought her flowers. Tried to rekindle our old hobbies. But you can't win someone back who's already gone. She'd just get annoyed, as if I was interrupting her life by trying to be her husband. The final straw was a receipt. A seemingly insignificant piece of paper that unraveled everything. I was doing laundry on a Sunday morning, the mundane chore a constant reminder of the chasm widening between us. I reached into the pocket of her jeans and pulled out a crumpled receipt. It was from a fancy Italian restaurant downtown, the kind of place where a single plate of pasta costs more than my monthly Netflix subscription. The receipt was dated Tuesday for lunch, which was weird, because she told me she had a huge client meeting at the office that day. Now, I'm not usually the snooping type. I trusted her, or at least I tried to, but something about that receipt bugged me. She'd been bragging about landing all these new clients, but whenever I suggested grabbing dinner with them, she always said it wasn't appropriate. But lunch was? Make it make sense. So, I did something I'm not proud of. I checked our shared Google timeline. That creepy feature that tracks everywhere you go. Yeah, that one. And holy hell, there were a lot of client meetings at hotels, parks, and random restaurants. Basically, everywhere except her actual office. I spent 3 hours poring over her location history, piecing together the puzzle of her lies. The pattern was clear. Whenever she said she was working late or had team events, she was actually at places like the Marriott downtown or some secluded park on the other side of the city. But I still didn't know who she was with, just that she was definitely not where she said she was. Then I found the burner phone. I wasn't even looking for it. I was grabbing her gym bag to do yet more laundry and an old iPhone fell out, one of those ancient models people keep as backups. Except this one had a passcode. "Hey! I found this old phone in your gym bag," I said later that night, holding it up for her to see. "Is it broken or something?" She barely glanced at it before her eyes widened in alarm. In a blur, she lunged forward, snatching it from my hands as if I was holding classified government secrets. "That's private." Her voice was sharp, defensive. "Private? It's just an old phone," I said, confused. She clutched it to her chest like a lifeline, her entire posture rigid. "God, why are you going through my stuff? This is why I can't trust you." I just stood there, stunned. I was the untrustworthy one? She couldn't even look me in the eye. Classic DARVO move. Denny, attack, reverse victim, and offender. She was trying to make me feel guilty for uncovering her secret, for invading her privacy. But the best part? In her panic to grab the phone, she knocked over her regular iPhone. It fell face up on the couch. A message preview popped up, "Miss you, baby," from a contact named Work Project. Subtle. I didn't confront her right away. Instead, I spent the next few days observing her, watching her carefully. She'd receive these messages and smile like a teenager, then glance up to make sure I wasn't watching. She'd take calls in the other room, whispering even though she claimed it was just work stuff. One time, I overheard her giggle and say, "Stop it, you're bad," before noticing me and quickly hanging up. I decided to check our credit card statements. Found charges from hotels on days she was supposed to be at client dinners, and not even nice hotels. We're talking Holiday Inn Express type places. Classy! That was it for me. I couldn't keep living in this hell, chasing after her, seeing the signs and forcing myself to ignore them. She had already checked out of this marriage. I was just the last to admit it. I packed all her belongings while she was at work, stuffing them into garbage bags. I was feeling petty, didn't even bother to fold anything, left them all in the garage, changed the locks, and sent her a text message, found the burner phone, saw the hotel charges. Don't come home. We're done. The absolute deluge of messages I received after that. Holy hell. First, it was denial. What are you talking about? You're being crazy. Let me explain. Then the classic blame shifting. This is why I had to look elsewhere. If you paid more attention to me. You're always working. Then, the threats. I'll tell everyone you abused me. You'll regret this. My lawyer will destroy you. Then, she showed up at the house, crying and banging on the door, screaming about how I was jumping to conclusions and how she could explain everything. Meanwhile, I'm just sitting on the couch with the dogs, watching her melt down on our Ring camera like it's an episode of Real Housewives. The next few days were a blur. My phone was blowing up non-stop, not just from Anna, but from basically everyone we knew. She had apparently launched a massive PR campaign, telling everyone her version of events. According to her, I was a controlling psycho who was throwing away our marriage over nothing. My family kept calling too. Looking back, their reactions were weird, too concerned about me jumping to conclusions. My mom kept saying, "Marriage takes work, Mark. Everyone makes mistakes." Even my sister, Jenny, was being super sketchy. Then, Lily showed up at my door. Quick backstory on Lily. She was Anna's best friend since college, the maid of honor at our wedding, the girls' night confidant. She knew all our secrets. We were always friendly, but not particularly close. Just the usual, hey, when she came over to hang out with Anna. So, it's like 11:00 p.m. I'm on the couch in my pajamas, binge watching Breaking Bad because why not be depressed while watching a depressing show? And my doorbell rings. I check the Ring camera, paranoid about Anna showing up again, and there's Lily, clearly drunk and crying. I sighed and opened the door. You okay? Lily sniffled, wiping her face with shaky hands. I can't keep lying. Her words were slurred, raw with emotion. She's horrible. You're so nice, and she's just horrible. She let out a shaky breath, then whispered, I just had a fight with her. Her voice cracked. A bad one. I stepped aside. You want to come in? Maybe have some water? She nodded weakly, stumbling inside. The moment she hit the couch, she collapsed into it as if all the fight had drained out of her. And then, just like that, the floodgates opened. She's been cheating for months, Lily whispered, her voice thick with guilt. I knew, and I didn't say anything. I stiffened. I knew it. I had suspected it for so long, but hearing it out loud still hit hard. Who is it? I asked, my voice steadier than I felt. Lily shut her eyes and shook her head. I can't. Lily, who? She opened her mouth, then closed it again, her entire body trembling. It's worse than you think, she murmured. You're going to hate everyone when you find out. A chill crawled up my spine. My mind was racing, filling in the blanks. Blanks I wasn't sure I wanted answers to, but at this point, I had no choice. We talked for hours, not just about Anna, but about everything. Love, mistakes, the slow, painful realization that something is over long before you admit it to yourself. For the first time, I really saw Lily, not just as Anna's friend, but as her. The way her dark eyes softened when she spoke, the way she pushed her hair behind her ear when she got nervous. She had this warmth to her, effortless and unforced, the kind I hadn't felt in a long time. You deserved better, she whispered. I let out a dry laugh. Funny. She never acted like it. Lily didn't argue. She just looked at me, really looked at me, and for the first time in years I felt seen. One thing led to another, and yeah, we kissed. It wasn't revenge. It wasn't about Anna at all. It was warmth after years of cold. The next morning was awkward. Lily was super embarrassed about spilling everything, and I was worried I had taken advantage of her being drunk, even though she was the one who kissed me first. We agreed to keep everything quiet until the divorce was sorted out. But man, that kiss changed everything. Suddenly, I wasn't just angry about Anna cheating. I was actually excited about the future. Like maybe this whole disaster was pushing me towards something better. The next few weeks were a bizarre dance of secret texts with Lily, avoiding Anna's constant attempts to explain, and navigating my family's increasingly strange behavior. Everyone seemed to be taking sides, but the sides made no sense. People who should have been in my corner were defending Anna, while people I barely knew were reaching out with messages of support. I hired a lawyer, a badass named Frank, not his real name, obviously. In our first meeting, I laid out everything I knew: the burner phone, the hotel receipts, the Google timeline data. He just sat there, nodding, taking notes, then looked up and said, "There's more going on here than you know. But we're going to handle this smart." Frank advised me to not confront anyone yet. Just gather evidence, keep my mouth shut, and wait. The truth will come out in court anyway, he said. And it will be better if you don't show your hand early. Meanwhile, Lily and I kept getting closer. Nothing physical after that first kiss. We both agreed to keep things proper until after the divorce. But we texted for hours, sharing stupid memes at 3:00 a.m. and links to songs we thought the other would like. It was nice. Just nice. Anna tried every trick in the book to get me to talk to her. Showed up at my work, got banned by security. Sent flying monkeys, mutual friends, to guilt trip me. Even tried to use the dogs against me, suddenly missing them after barely acknowledging them for months. The weirdest part was how my family was acting. My mom kept inviting me over for dinner, but would get cagey when I asked who else would be there. Ryan, my brother, stopped gaming with me online, but was posting pictures at family events. I wasn't invited to. Jenny was straight up avoiding me. The day before court was sheer chaos. My lawyer, Frank, called to prep me for what might happen and dropped this bomb. Just be prepared for anything tomorrow. And I mean anything. When I pressed him for more information, he just said, "Trust me, you'll want to be sitting down when this all comes out." I was getting cryptic texts from everyone. My mom sent a weird message: "I hope you can find it in your heart to forgive." Forgive what? Jenny, my sister, tried calling me like 6 times, but kept hanging up before I could answer. Even my buddy Mike, who hadn't talked to me in weeks, sent a "you holding up okay, bro?" text at like 2 a.m. Lily was being extra weird too. We'd been texting constantly for weeks, sharing everything and nothing, but suddenly, she went silent. Her last message was just, "I'm so sorry. You'll hate me tomorrow, but please remember I wanted to tell you." Then, radio silence. I spent that night stress cleaning my apartment. The dogs kept looking at me like, "Dude, chill," but also wouldn't leave my side. We all ended up passing out on the couch, watching Kitchen Nightmares because Gordon Ramsay yelling at people was oddly comforting. Around 3:00 a.m., I got an email from Anna. Subject line, "Please read before tomorrow." Did I open it? Hell no. I archived that faster than my ex could say, "It's not what you think." But I'd be lying if I said I wasn't curious. Then the bomb dropped. A text message from my brother, Ryan. "Hey man, don't come to court tomorrow. We can settle this without making it messy. I'll explain everything later." I didn't sleep at all that night. I just sat there on my couch, scrolling through old photos on my phone like an idiot. Found this picture from last Christmas. Me, Anna, my whole family. Everyone smiling like we didn't have a care in the world. It's weird how life can completely flip upside down in just a few months. Frank texted me around 6 a.m., "Wear your Navy suit. Look successful, but not flashy. And whatever happens in there, do not lose your cool. Let me handle everything. I got to the courthouse early, anxiety being one hell of an alarm clock. Sat in my car for an hour, watching people go in and out, wondering how many other lives were falling apart inside those walls that day. Saw Lily pull up. She looked like she hadn't slept either. We made eye contact, but she just shook her head and went inside. That's when my stomach really started doing flips. Then my parents showed up together, looking stressed. My mom tried to wave, but my dad stopped her. They hurried inside, like they were late for something. Jenny arrived next, saw my car and literally ran inside, full on sprinting in heels. That's when I knew. Whatever was about to happen was going to be catastrophic. Walking into that courthouse felt like walking to my own execution. But holy hell, I had no idea what was waiting for me on the other side. There I was, sitting in this fancy-ass courtroom that looked exactly like the ones you see on TV. Frank, my lawyer, was next to me, rifling through papers like he was searching for the nuclear launch codes. The room was eerily quiet, that heavy silence that hangs in the air right before everything goes to hell. Then, the doors swung open. Anna walked in. She was wearing this virginal white dress, as if she was auditioning for the role of the innocent victim. But that's not what made my jaw drop. She was holding hands with my brother Ryan, full-on intertwined fingers, holding hands in court, in front of everyone, in front of me. My brain short-circuited. All those weird pieces of the puzzle suddenly slammed into place. The family's strange behavior. Lily's guilt. Ryan's sudden disappearance from my life. All those client meetings at times when Ryan was supposedly working late. Frank grabbed my arm because I guess I started standing up without realizing it. He whispered, "Sit down. Let them dig their own grave." Anna and Ryan sat at the other table with their lawyer, some young, fresh-faced kid who looked about as comfortable as a vegan at a barbecue. Ryan wouldn't even look in my direction, but Anna kept shooting me these little side eyes, like she was checking to see if I was about to lose it. The judge came in, an older dude who looked like he had seen it all, and the show began. Anna's lawyer started spinning this nauseatingly romantic tale about how love finds a way and how Anna and Ryan never meant to hurt anyone, but you can't help who you fall in love with. I was sitting there, thinking I was having a stroke. Was this really happening? Did my brother just walk into court holding hands with my wife while their lawyer tried to convince everyone this was some beautiful love story? Then it got better. Anna started crying, full on sobbing, about how confused and lost she was in our marriage, and how Ryan was just trying to help her through a difficult time, and how things just happened. Just happened? Like, they just tripped and fell into bed together multiple times at various hotels across town for months? But here's the best part. Their lawyer tried to argue that the prenuptial agreement should be void because of emotional distress and family circumstances. Basically trying to say that, because Ryan was my brother, all the normal rules should be thrown out the window. Frank was just sitting there with this tiny, almost imperceptible smile playing on his lips. When it was his turn, he stood up slowly, straightened his tie, and said, "Your Honor, before we continue, I'd like to present evidence of how this love story actually played out." Then, he pulled out this thick folder that I had never seen before and started laying out the evidence, one damning piece at a time. Screenshots of text messages, hotel receipts paid for with our joint account, photos of them together from months before we separated, bank statements showing Ryan had been helping Anna move money around, a timeline showing they had been hooking up since Christmas. The judge's face grew stormier with each new piece of evidence, but Frank saved the best for last. He produced emails between Anna and Ryan, outlining their plans to break the news after the divorce was finalized. They had this whole scheme worked out, wait until everything was done, then go public with their relationship, like it just happened organically. Ryan finally looked at me, tried to give me this "I'm sorry, bro" face. I just stared back until he averted his gaze. Anna was full on ugly crying now, mascara smeared all over her face. The judge was not impressed. He started peppering them with pointed questions about timeline discrepancies, about the money, about their version of events. Every answer just dug them deeper. Then he looked right at them and said, "This court does not look kindly upon deliberate deception." The prenuptial agreement stands, just like that. All their romantic pronouncements, all their scheming, all their manipulation shot down in 2 minutes flat. The courtroom drama was over, but my family apparently didn't get the memo that I wanted nothing to do with them. A week after the hearing, my mom started this massive text campaign to bring the family back together, as if a nice pot roast would make me forget that my brother had been sleeping with my wife. It started with casual texts, "We miss you, honey," then escalated to "Family is forever and we need to move past this." The final straw was when she sent a group text announcing a family dinner that Sunday, dinner at 6. "Everyone will be there. We're fixing this." She didn't even ask if I wanted to come. I ignored it at first. But then Jenny, my sister, called me, actually crying. "Please come," she sobbed. "Mom's losing it. She's convinced she can fix everything if we just have dinner together like normal." Normal? I laughed. "Jenny, what part of this is normal? I know. But maybe we should try. For Mom's sake. Is Ryan coming?" Silence. "Is he bringing Anna?" More silence. "Yeah, that's what I thought." Something inside me snapped. Maybe it was the bourbon I'd been drinking. Maybe it was weeks of pent-up rage finally reaching a boiling point. But I decided to go. Not to make peace. To watch them squirm. I showed up exactly on time. Everyone else was already there, sitting stiffly in the living room, like it was any other Sunday dinner. Ryan and Anna were crammed onto the love seat. Mom was fussing with appetizers, and Dad was pretending to watch golf. Jenny saw my face and immediately poured me a drink. Mom tried to play the gracious hostess. "Honey, we saved your usual seat." My usual seat, right between Ryan and Dad. "Yeah, no." I stayed standing. The silence was so thick you could cut it with a knife. Then Ryan, that absolute clown, tried to break the ice. "Hey bro, how's work?" I just stared at him. Did this guy really just ask me about work? Like he hadn't blown up my entire life. Mom jumped in. "Let's eat. I made your favorite lasagna." We moved to the dining room. Mom had set the table like it was Thanksgiving. Her best china, fancy napkins, the works. As if good table settings could fix betrayal. Dad tried to say grace. Actually tried to thank God for bringing the family together. I had to bite my tongue to keep from laughing. The first 10 minutes were just the sound of forks scraping plates. Then Mom started her prepared speech. "We're family. Families forgive. Families heal. What happened was unfortunate, but Ryan and Anna are in love. Real love. Sometimes these things..." I cut her off. "These things? What things, Mom? Like Ryan accidentally fell on my wife?" "Language," Dad snapped. The first thing he'd said all night. "Oh, I'm sorry. Is my language offensive? More offensive than my brother sleeping with my wife?" Anna started crying. Ryan put his arm around her. I wanted to throw up in Mom's fancy lasagna. "They're getting married," Mom announced. Like this was supposed to make everything better. "In June. We'd love for you to be there." I actually laughed out loud. "Are you insane?" "Actually, insane. It would mean so much to your brother." "My brother?" I stood up so fast. My chair fell over backwards. "The same brother who was screwing my wife while I was taking care of Dad during his cancer scare?" Dead silence. "Dad didn't know about that part." "You were? During my cancer treatment?" Dad looked at Ryan like he was seeing him for the first time. Ryan started stammering. "It wasn't. We didn't." "Show them the pictures," I said. Jenny looked up, her eyes wide with alarm. "What pictures?" I pulled out my phone, opened the folder Frank gave me, and started swiping through the security camera stills. Ryan sneaking into my house. Anna letting him in. Timestamps telling the whole story. "This one's from when Dad was having his first chemo session. Remember that, Ryan?" When you said you couldn't come to the hospital because of work? Mom was crying now. Dad was just staring at his plate. Jenny looked like she wanted to disappear. And this one's from Christmas Eve, when you said you were stuck at the airport. Guess my bed was more comfortable than those airport chairs, huh? Anna ran from the table. Ryan went after her. Mom was full on sobbing. Dad finally looked at me. Son, we didn't know, or didn't want to know. I stood up, surprisingly calm. Thanks for dinner, Mom. The lasagna was great. Don't invite me to the wedding. I walked to the door, but turned back, looking directly at Ryan. Oh, and Ryan? Anna likes to sleep with her ex's brothers. Might want to keep her away from any cousins you've got. The look on his face was better than any revenge I could have planned. I got in my car and drove straight to Lily's place. I showed up at her door probably looking like hell, still in my dinner clothes, smelling like Mom's lasagna and regret. Lily took one look at me and just got it. Didn't ask questions, didn't try to fix anything, just hugged me tightly, pulled me inside, and poured me a drink. We sat on her tiny balcony for hours. Her apartment was small, but the view was incredible. We talked about everything. Not just the Anna and Ryan show, but real stuff. Dreams we had put on hold, places we wanted to see, why we both hate olives but keep trying them anyway, hoping our taste buds will change at some point. Lily looked at me and said, "You know what the worst part was? Watching her throw away someone who actually gave a damn. Do you know how rare that is? That hit different. Because yeah, I did give a damn. Still do, I guess. Not about Anna. She could choke on her wedding cake for all I care. But about doing relationships right. About being the kind of person who tries." The next few times Lily and I hung out, we just talked, watched stupid movies, and took the dogs to this hidden dog park she knew about. Started building something real, without all the drama and lies. It's been 4 months since the courtroom hearing. A lot has changed. Dad actually left Mom. Turns out watching your wife defend your cheating son during your cancer treatment is a pretty solid deal breaker. He's got an apartment across town and started going to therapy. We get coffee sometimes, just us. It's awkward, but we're trying. Jenny is talking to me again. She apologized like 100 times for keeping their secret, said she was scared of breaking up the family. I get it now, even if I don't agree with it. Fear makes people do stupid things. Mom still sends those family is everything type texts. I delete them without reading. She tried to tell me Ryan and Anna postponed their wedding in case you changed your mind about attending. I changed my number the other day. I ran into them once at the grocery store. Ryan looked like he wanted to say something. Anna suddenly became very interested in organic tomatoes. I just walked past them with my cart, grabbed my stuff, and left. Didn't feel anything. That's progress, I think. The dogs love Lily. Like, really love her. Max, who usually takes forever to warm up to people, started bringing her his favorite toy, the 3rd time she came over. Bella basically lives in her lap whenever she's around. Dogs know good people when they meet them. We made it official last month. Took it slow. Did it right. Our first real date was at this hole-in-the-wall ramen place, where we both got terribly lost trying to find it, and ended up laughing in the rain for 20 minutes. It was perfect. I also got a promotion at work, moved to a new apartment, one without security cameras and shitty memories. Started playing guitar again, badly, but Lily claims she likes it. The other day, I was making dinner and Lily was sitting on my counter, telling me about her day. Max and Bella were sprawled at her feet. And it hit me, this is what real happiness feels like. Not the Instagram perfect fake that Anna and I had, but genuine, messy, beautiful happiness. Do I still get angry sometimes? Yeah. Do I miss my old life? Hell no! Last week, Lily found an old photo of me and Anna in a drawer. Asked if I wanted to throw it out. I looked at it. Us smiling at some family gathering, Ryan probably taking the picture. And I realized I didn't feel anything. No anger, no pain, just nothing. I tossed it in the trash and went back to making dinner. Lily put on some music. The dogs were begging for scraps. Just another normal evening. And you know what? Normal is pretty damn good.